Next to me is the brand new Huracan Performante. With a sub 7-minute Nürburgring lap time, forged carbon everywhere, and a roaring 5.2 liter V10, the Performante has become an instant legend and deemed by many as the ultimate modern day supercar. But what happens when you add a supercharger to a Performante? That's what we're here to find out.
1, 2, 3, go.
VF Engineering is known for supercharging V10s. From the first generation Audi R8 to the brand new Huracan, VF is known for adding several hundred extra horsepower without sacrificing drivability. This is their latest project, the Hypercharged Performante. Let's go ahead and pop the bonnet and check out what's under the hood. The Performante is now no longer naturally aspirated. With the help of an Eaton TVS Root-style supercharger, power has been increased significantly. The stock car made 631 horsepower and 443 pound-feet of torque, which for 99.9% of people is plenty. But VF decided, hey, that's not good enough. Power is up to 875 horsepower and 640 pound-feet of torque. With its low curb weight of 3,350 pounds, that power to weight ratio is ridiculous. Let's get behind the wheel and check it out. So what exactly is a hypercharger? Well, according to VF, it's a supercharger system with a little bit of extra sauce, turning a supercar into hypercar levels of performance. And judging by the power figures and the weight of this thing, as well as its all-wheel drive system and launch control, it definitely has hypercar levels of performance. In reality, it is just a supercharger, but boost has been turned up over the normal Huracan supercharger kit, giving us 875 horsepower as opposed to the 805 in the normal Huracan. The entire air intake system is different, the tuning is different. Obviously, there are some modifications on a Performante over the normal Huracan. Now, I'll be honest, after driving a stock Performante as well as a stock Huracan, the last thing I thought was, man, this car could use another 200 horsepower. But after dropping my car off at VF Engineering, 3 days later picking it up with the new supercharger kit and flooring it, the only thing that went through my head was, why on earth didn't I do this sooner? Honestly, these cars are all about fun, right? Why are you gonna spend $340,000 on a Performante? You wanna have fun. You want a raw, exciting, powerful, exhilarating car. And when you supercharge it, it just takes that up to the next level. After a year of ownership on my LP610, eventually you start getting used to it. Adding that supercharger kit brought back the love for the car, reminded me of day one, and absolutely blew my mind every time I floored the car. So how fast is a supercharged Huracan? Well, I personally tested 0 to 60 in 2.3 seconds using a V-Box data logger. In theory, with the stickier P0 Corsa tires, slightly lower weight, and more horsepower in the Performante, we might be able to see quicker times than that. And the quarter mile goes by in a tad under 10 seconds. That's Bugatti Veyron Supersport, LaFerrari 918 P1 levels of performance. Before we delve deeper into the supercharged aspect of the Performante, I want to talk more about what makes this vehicle so special. Like the Huracan, we've got a 7-speed double clutch transmission that shifts faster than you can think. In the Performante, this transmission has been retuned. The Performante kicks you in the back between shifts a little bit more. Like the Huracan, the Performante has 4 wheels. It has a steering wheel, 2 seats, and a 5.2 liter V10. But aside from that, the Performante feels quite a bit different. It's lighter on its feet. Everything feels sharper and more raw. So how is it possible that a Performante that'll set you back 330 grand, it has 631 horsepower, is able to lap the Nürburgring faster than a 918, a P1, or a LaFerrari, multi-million-dollar hypercars with a heck of a lot more power? Well, the main reason is due to Lamborghini's ALA system, or in butchered Italian, Aerodynamica Lamborghini Attiva. I'm sorry for anyone who's Italian who just had to listen to that. That's Lamborghini's term for their active aerodynamic technology. The way it works is pretty astounding. You see, up in the lower section of the front bumper are electronically controlled flaps, one on the left side and one on the right. When the flaps are closed, air passes over the front splitter for increased downforce. The downside of this is that there's more drag. So if you're going for high speed, that's going to limit your acceleration. But when the Huracan senses it doesn't need that downforce and it wants to glide through the air more seamlessly, the flaps can open and the air can actually pass over the splitter and underneath the car to reduce the drag. And these work in conjunction with two air scoops on the rear engine cover. Those scoops have flaps inside them as well. When the flaps are closed, air passes over the rear wing, providing maximum downforce. However, when they are open, air is allowed to pass under the wing. It creates turbulence behind the wing itself and reduces drag. But it gets even more complicated than that. The passenger side and the driver side flaps can actually open independently of one another. So let's say we're going around a turn and we need more downforce on the inside wheels. The flaps will stay closed on the passenger side so that air passes over the splitter and over the wing for more downforce, and stay open on the driver's side for less drag there. The result is an astounding amount of grip. It's unbelievable how fast you can send this thing through a corner confidently too. And what I love about VF's kit so much is that it doesn't disrupt the perfectly balanced car that the Performante came out of the factory. Because it's a supercharger, there's no lag. There's no waiting for turbos to spool up. It's instantaneous response after 2,300 RPMs. You floor the gas and boom, you're surged forward with an unbelievable kick in the back. Wow! This thing pulls like a freight train. Simply put, the Supercharger takes the already brilliant Performante and takes it to a whole nother level of brutality. The surge forward and the sound that this thing makes is unbelievable. Now, the 5.2 liter V10 in itself is a lovely piercing note, especially in stark contrast to its twin turbocharged rivals like the 488 and 720S, which leave a lot to be desired in terms of exhaust note. But when you add that supercharger, it has that beautiful V10 note, that little bit of extra whine, more crackles, and it's louder, and it just makes you want to accelerate absolutely everywhere. One of my favorite parts about this car is the driver display when in Corsa mode. Now, in Sport and Strada, it's got a similar layout to the stock Huracan, but when you flick it into Corsa, full black, red, and gray tachometer that looks like it's straight out of the space age, and it's horizontally oriented, so as the RPMs climb, they move this way instead of a little needle, which is kind of boring. Why would we want boring in a Lamborghini Huracan Performante? This Performante has the comfort seats, and it actually has a glove box, which I haven't seen before in a Performante. This is actually a linear flux and VF engineering marketing car that has been wrapped by protective film solutions. I think they did a fantastic job with the design. Now, you can't review a Huracan Performante without discussing the forged carbon fiber. It is everywhere on the exterior of the vehicle, as well as the air vents, the center console, even the paddles themselves. The pattern of the forged carbon fiber is so stunning to look at. And it's actually a really innovative process that has some serious advantages over normal carbon fiber. This new process of developing carbon fiber was actually originally created for the Boeing 787 Dreamliner. Then, that technology was brought to the Huracan Performante. Sure, carbon fiber bits have brought the weight down a little bit over a standard Huracan, and we've got 29 more horsepower. But the fact that it's able to lap the Nürburgring in 28 seconds quicker than a standard Huracan, just out of this world impressive, and goes to show how much of a difference that ALA system truly makes. What's incredible is that VF is actually able to do the install in under a week. There's about 8 extra hours of work on the Performante over the normal Huracan due to the upgraded fuel pump and a couple other modifications. but under a week is just staggering to me. I put 9,000 incredibly brutal miles on my Supercharged Huracan without a single hiccup. And really, that's the point, right? You want to be able to drive it day after day after day. Sure, it might be fun to have the fastest car in the half mile, but if your car is broken the next day and you have to trailer it to a shop and put a new engine in it, with this you got bulletproof reliability and an absolute weapon to put a smile on your face every single day. Let's hit it! Oh, you gotta be flippin' kidding me! The scary part is, even though the Performante is the more aggressive track-focused version of the Huracan, I still feel like, even in supercharged form, you could daily drive this car if you really want to. For those of you who want even a little bit of extra power, you can get VF's upgraded exhaust. If you notice, it says 9XX on the side. Why does it say 9XX if it only makes 875 horsepower? Well, with the upgraded exhaust, as well as a tune to run higher octane fuel, you can bump the power into the 900s. Now, I've noticed some comments of people saying, wow, Parker speaks almost too highly of VF. Are they paying him to say positive things? I have never received a single dollar of monetary compensation from VF. These are all my own opinions. I'm just so stoked on the product that, one, getting to drive this for the day is a fantastic experience, and two, I want to share this experience with you guys and show you how insane a supercharged Performante is. Well, guys, I feel like this review wouldn't be complete without testing the 0 to 60 time of the Huracan Performante with the Hypercharger using a V-Box. So we're gonna hook that up now, launch the car, and see how quick it really is. All right, all the way on the brake, floor the gas. Even with wheel spin from the start, 0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds. Let's run that back. There we go, 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds without warming up the tires first. That's pretty impressive. We'll run it back one more time. 0 to 60 in 2.4 seconds. There we go. And that's on an unprepped surface. So you can imagine after heating the tires up and doing this on a drag strip, that's ballistic. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Honestly, what an incredible day spending time behind the wheel of the Hypercharged Performante. Like always, please browse the channel and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you next video.